back to another episode of Rep and Repeat Podcast. I am your host, Tommaso Abbattiscianni, and this is my lovely co-host,
Mattice.
And we are going to be going over a Q&A that we got from all of you lovely people.
Beautiful people.
We're super excited to answer some of these questions, and we could give our best insight to help guide you in whatever direction you're looking for. So...
Well, that sounds so ominous too.
Thank you.
You know, it was just very spiritual.
Nice. Because you know what? We try to guide people in the right direction, right?
Agreed.
That's all we're trying to do here is promote positivity and honesty and just be vulnerable.
Yeah. That's what I love about this, giving those questions that people really want, answered, and so guys, again, thank you for all the questions you guys asked us, so now we're going to go through them, and don't hesitate to ask anything, realistically.
Yeah, we'll do a weekly Q&A on both of our Instagram accounts, so then you could just ask questions through there, and then we'll get through them. So, let's start off with the Instagram questions, and this one is, how much cardio a week should I hit if I'm trying to lose body fat and get lean?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
Per week, general standard, I would say one, cardio is not going to be the end all just to get lean. You have to maintain a calorie deficit, and all these other things need to be in line, right? But I think a baseline of cardio per week for people is at least, I think the government standard is 160 minutes or 120 minutes per week of cardio.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Just for general heart health, but for fat loss, it all depends on how much food you're eating and how much you're training and stuff like that, and what's your calorie maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a loaded question. It varies. Because if you're eating 4,000 calories and your body needs 2,000,
Yeah, exactly. And you're doing 20 minutes of cardio, it's still not going to be enough.
It's not enough.
You're still going to be gaining weight.
So what I would suggest is, I would definitely suggest, if you're going to look into this, I would go and get your TDEE calculator online, find out what your base calories are.
Total daily expenditure.
Yep. Do your macros from that point, and then if you're going to track your macros, see where you're at. So if you do your TDE, your total daily energy exposure, there's calculators online. Find out what your base number is. Make a diet to that. Say it's 2,400 for you just maintaining. Okay, so now you got to figure out, if you're going to eat 2,400 calories, now you got to figure out what kind of cardio you're going to do to that. Right. So for example, if you're going to do 40 minutes of stairs and that burns 500 calories, okay, now you're deducting 500 calories from 2,400 calories, and now you're in a deficit at that aspect.
Correct. Yep.
So that's a good way to kind of gauge it. Now, also too much cardio is not always the best either. I've done 90 minutes of cardio and never lost really any weight.
Yeah, because your body's fatigued at that point, and they're just holding a stress response, and the cells are just tired at that point. So it's you hold on to that more than anything.
Exactly. So I think playing that game is kind of hard. It's a really loaded question because you really got to figure out where your calories are at, and because think about this: if you normally need 3,000 calories, you're getting fed 2,000 calories, and now you decide to do 45 minutes of cardio, you're in a real hard deficit, and that body's going to start to hold.
Right.
So now you got to figure out how to either not do cardio because you're already dieting hard enough.
Yep.
So there's a couple of ways to play this. You can taper up on your cardio and then slowly taper down your food, or taper down your food hard and then slowly taper up on your cardio. But doing both at the same time is going to be that's a disaster.
That's just contest prep too sometimes, right? You pull in both.
Well, so that's why refeeds are big.
Yeah, correct. That's yep.
Refeeds are big because the body starts to hold. If you start seeing you're dropping weight progressively, and then you see your body hold, see what the next day looks like. But if it holds again, it's time to either refeed with me personally, have a cheat meal. If I'm a lifestyle client, cheat meal. Don't be an asshole. Burger and fries are usually good. But if you're in competition prep, talk to your coach and see is it worth more of calories or more of 30 feet meals.
Right.
So
everybody's body responds differently.
For you, your body responds really well with dirty food.
Yep.
We've done the clean refeeds and it doesn't really do much.
Wasn't progressing.
But the higher calories of just hey, here's a higher influx of calories. And I'm sure you're sweating like a whore in church when you eat.
Yeah, when you eat a lot. Yep. I was sweating last night doing my cardio. I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
Takes me 25 minutes on level 8 on the stairs out of a 30-minute session to start breaking a sweat at this point in prep. But when I had the chicken sandwiches last night, I went home and did extra 30 minutes of cardio.
Yeah.
And I was pretty much drenched.
Drenched.
Not fully, but I was starting to sweat more than usual.
Fair.
You know, which is a good sign. That means the metabolism's firing again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So
good question, but a hard question to answer realistically.
yeah, that's why you should hire a coach.
Yeah, it's true.
Take that aspect, that overthinking process out of it for you, and we handle those things.
Yeah, because it gets to a crazy point. It really does.
And it becomes mental after, you start to just play fucking trial and error, and it's a failure at that point. You know, and you're just like in the same cycle, repetitive cycle, and I see it over and over again.
Same.
So the next question is, how to get back on track after falling off? I'm assuming this is about the gym and falling off with diet.
That's actually a great question. I have a lot of clients that come back to me after falling off, and the first thing is they feel embarrassed. Don't feel embarrassed. Life happens.
Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel insecure. That's one thing you need to understand is life happens. Mm-hmm. You're going to pick up the ball again, and you're going to keep playing, all right?
So my methodology is I always try to tell my clients, like, how many days in a row can we string together before you cheat? So if we get to day 4, in my head, the way I look at it is you get day 4, okay, now let's make it to day 6 next time.
Correct.
Now, okay, we got to day 6 this time. All right, let's see if we can make it to day 10.
Right.
You want to slowly build their confidence in themselves as well.
It's also deeper than that too, right? Because I think that what's making them binge eat or cheat?
Yeah.
Right? What's making them have these fall off with their diet? Well, like there's a reason behind it. It's not just, oh, well, I can't stick to a plan mentally. No, there's a reason why, like whether it's stress, whether it's hormonal imbalances, there's a million things, right? And I think that as a coach, you should be able to dig into the root cause. I try
not to berate my clients when they cheat. Because
no, you never do. You remember, I told you, I think 2 weeks ago, what did I have? I had like fucking...
you had, was it Korean chicken and rice?
Yeah, Korean chicken and rice.
So he called me, and I was like, Tommaso doesn't really call me on this kind of time, this time frame. So I was like, all right.
I got scared.
So I picked it up. I was like, yo, what's up? He's like, hey, bro, I got something to tell you. So he told me, and what did I tell you? Like, that's all right, bro. It is what it is.
Just get back on plan.
Get back on plan.
I'm still in a net deficit, regardless. But still, it really fucked up my stomach and shit.
It fucked up your head.
Yeah, because I felt like a cheater. I felt like I was guilty.
After that call, you even said to me, you were like, I appreciate you taking that call because I needed to get off my chest because that's all I wanted. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not here to smack the dog. I'm not here to, you spilled the milk. Let's clean it up together and let's figure the fuck out and move on.
That's it.
You know, I'm not here to like I said, like to berate you. It's more of like, let's figure out how to get you. Like you said, why did you cheat? Yep. Okay, this is where I cheated. Okay, Tommaso, we need to do X, Y, and Z to get back to this point. All right? Can you do an extra 25 minutes, 30 minutes here? And realistically, that also plays a big role, being able to be honest and open with your coach, knowing like, all right,
it goes back to the previous episode we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Being honest and open with your coach.
That's it.
And trusting your coach.
Now I'll say this, ready? If Tommaso cheated let's say he cheated on a Wednesday, and then Saturday rolls around, he cheats again. Now we have a problem.
Now we're just now
I got to figure out what the fuck's going on, because now, especially in competition prep, what's going on? You know. So like, I'll give you a perfect example. My lifestyle clients, when they fall off, just get back on. You know what I mean? Like, take the day, enjoy the day.
That's it.
Let's get back to tomorrow.
Back to track.
You know. Yep. So even when they go on vacation, if you go on vacation, like I tell my clients, when you get back, we'll do damage control. Enjoy vacation.
And also, I think a good point is, don't run yourself to the ground and don't be like, oh, I gotta do more cardio now because I cheated on my diet. Like, no, just fucking relax.
Yeah.
Take a breather.
Yep.
Depending on where you are, you may, if you're doing a show, and you may need to do that extra cardio, because just to burn whatever. But that's not mentally beneficial to you continuing to stay on track or falling back into a groove. Now, this leads into the next question: was binge eating behaviors, and I think binge eating behaviors comes from deep-rooted issues, and I think childhood and stuff like that. And I could give some examples on binge eating behaviors, because you see how I fucking eat sometimes. Like, when I eat, I can eat, but I've developed a mindset. I've shifted my mindset to be able to not binge the way that I used to.
Yeah.
But that took a very long period of time, and it also took a lot of digging deep internally on where these habits were coming from. So I remember as a kid, my parents weren't really home during the day after school. My mom would be working, my dad would be working, so I would be home alone or with my brother. And so like I was bored and I had nothing to do, so I would just eat and I would just eat Oreos and bacon and this and that because I was just bored. And nobody was telling me no, that this is wrong, right?
Yeah.
And then also the shut up method, right? My parents wanted me to do good in school and I wasn't doing well in school, so they would just provide food, and they didn't know at the time that it was causing all these issues that would occur in the future for me. But this is something that I've learned along the way, and they've learned as parents too, that the way that they used to feed as like a shut up method wasn't ideal. And now the shut up method is a little bit different in today's world. It's more of like, here's your iPhone, just shut the fuck up and go in the corner. But that's another brainwashing thing as well, and gonna cause more issues than anything else. But yeah, binge eating behaviors are something that I think you need to really dig deep within yourself and see why you're having these binge eating spells, right? Whether it's stress, relationships, work, money, this, that. Like, there's a lot of reasons. And every time that I do binge eat, I don't beat myself up anymore the way that I used to. Instead, I think about why I just binge ate. And was there a reason that happened, or a situation that happened in my life currently that made me want to binge eat?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, realistically, like you said, it comes down to root causes of things.
Correct.
You know, binge eating is that's not an easy one. That one's something you got to dig up from
the ground.
From the ground. You got to dig up and figure out why. A lot of times when people do shows and they post show, they binge. I mean, my first show I binged. I tried to calculate how much calories I was eating and then how much cardio I was doing. And it didn't play a role. It doesn't work out like that. Truly, like, I was putting in like Chinese food, and you think that was really gonna do good with my body?
No, absolutely.
No, and I'm doing 90-minute stairs.
Yeah.
Exactly, bro. Like,
You're just killing yourself.
That's all I was doing.
Yeah.
I remember. I'll give you a little first one. My prep got done with prep. Somebody had given me fried Oreos. They gave me 8 fried Oreos. Now 8.
Annihilate me.
Bro, they're 400 calories each. I ate all 8, and in my head I'm like, okay, 400 times 8. You know, do the calculations. I was okay, 3,600 calories. Let me go do cardio.
Yeah.
I sat on that stairmaster until it reset at 60 minutes and did another 30 minutes.
Wow.
And my body still looked like fucking mashed potatoes after
shit.
that.
Yeah, you know, and that's you make it worse actually, right? You're eating like shit, and now you're causing all the systemic inflammation.
Yeah.
From the cardio.
And if you're gonna binge, I think this is a good thing, is knowing that you're about to go into it. Try to fill yourself up in water. Try to fill yourself up in like diet sodas, juices, things like that. Protein shakes. I was somebody that did a lot of night sleep eating, so I'd wake up and eat cakes.
Interesting.
And not realize
My dad
it.
does that.
Yeah?
You did do that.
Dude, it was bad. I mean, there was times that I would eat a full chocolate cake and not know it.
Same.
You know?
And just go to sleep.
And go right to sleep.
Which
That was the only way.
For you.
And I would say that happened for a good 3-4 years.
Oh, wow.
So even if I was dieting, so what I would have to do is wake up, see what damage I actually did, and then kind of, you know, either figure out the day from that point on.
Right,
you know, but that also showed me that maybe I was not eating enough calories throughout the day, so my body was continuing to crave at night. But I also think it had a lot to do with prep.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That prep causes a lot of mental issues for a lot of people, especially binge eating.
Especially for women, like for
show.
like
If you're not mentally prepared beforehand, everybody's first show, you're gonna fucking binge eat after.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I never heard of anybody that did a perfect post-show rebound.
Not the first show.
On their first show.
No.
Guy or girl. I heard that that was the hardest one for me too, because I fucked it up, and then the next show we did a little bit better.
Yep.
And now this show is gonna be way smoother, because you know what? I only feel good when I eat better food. So it's like I'm at that point where it's like, I know how shitty I felt during those times, and I don't want to repeat the same.
But I won't lie, I can't wait till he's done with the show so we can go to like Wingstop and film it. Of like,
we're gonna do like an ASMR
food.
video for you guys.
Yeah, fat kids eating food.
We're gonna do post-workout like fucking ASMR videos for you guys. We're super excited to show you guys those, because we could fucking eat like animals.
Yeah, exactly. Especially right now, I'm like fucking craving food.
So the next question was from our good friend Karen. Peaking mistakes, and I can't answer this because I haven't had any clients step on stage yet.
Yeah.
But I know that you can, so.
Peaking mistakes, there's so many. Honestly, when you start getting closer to the show, there's so many little fucking things that could go wrong. I always try to look at it this way. people always think that peak week is something crazy in this fucking whole new magical world. It's not.
No, it's the same shit.
It's the same shit. What I'll get, like, where the mistakes can be played is when you start to deviate from diet, what you're normally doing. So when people start filling up, they'll start adding food that they never had during prep.
Yeah.
You know, so now there's digestion problems. Now there's bloating in certain areas. So if you stick to the same foods you would normally stick to, don't deviate from that plan in the sense. Water. Stick to the same amount of sodium that you were normally taking in, unless your coach asks you to do more sodium or pull sodium or whatever that may be. Again, like, you want to keep all variables pretty much very standard. I mean, you did 12-week, 16-week preps. You don't want to be fucking it up the last week because you think there's a magical new way to do it.
Right.
If you're in shape, you're in shape.
Correct.
Realistically,
and at
that's
that point,
it.
by peak week, you got to be somewhat close to show ready.
You have to be. I mean, if you're sitting there like to a point,
you can't be doing last minute fucking strings. Strings last minute.
I've done it before where it's like I've had clients that are like not fully ready, and it's like, all right, well, we're gonna just try to fucking pull water at this point and see what we got going on, and. Unfortunately, sometimes that's the worst case scenario because the fact of the matter now they look skinny fat. But at the end of the day, it's very hard to peak people. There's no real one shoe fits all kind of deal.
Right.
So you kind of got to see how their body looks, go from there, play the game. I recently just had my guy Bill, who's a pro, he's a natural pro. And I actually traveled with him, and it was my first time really traveling with a client, sitting down, seeing what he looks like, feed him, pose him, see what he looks like an hour later, and that changed the game. Rep and repeat, realistically.
Literally.
And again, I think that's obviously what I'm going to do for a lot of my clients moving forward, where I can see them overnight. Okay, we feed them, see what things look like, move forward from there, and that's when you actually have a decent coach on your hands where they can actually have that eye to go, okay, we need to fill you more. All right, I need to pull down here.
Correct.
Things to that degree. So with peaking, guys, you can't really blame many coaches in the sense because there's so many variables. I've seen even like pro coaches that have coached hundreds of pros to stage, and I see them still fuck up a peak.
The body's always changing, right? And every day is not going to be the same, especially when it comes to bodybuilding.
No, that's a great question.
That's what makes it hard. So the next question is dealing with the mental after post-show, which are post-show blues that aren't really discussed. Now, this is a great question to ask. From my experience, I never really had post-show blues. If anything, I had a fire in me that continued to light after the show because I knew that I could be better.
Yeah.
I didn't get any depression. Maybe more so just body dysmorphia after, because when you see yourself at such a lean state and then you start to gain the weight on and the water comes back, it's like, oh my God, my abs are fucking going away. And like that becomes mentally taxing for me. But I do have the ability myself personally to calm my brain down and be like, relax, this is part of the process, this is just temporary. And also leading into the show, you have to know that physique is not maintainable year round.
No.
So you have to keep that in the back of your mind at all times and say, like, this is like a one-day fucking peak. You're not going to look like this for every day of your life. As much as you look phenomenal and great, realistically, if you're looking fucking great and you're sharp, like you're not feeling good.
No. You know what they say in the industry, right? The shitter you feel, the better you look.
Yeah, look good, feel like shit. Yeah. And that's another thing. I think that post-show, I think, is the time to recuperate your hormones and your mental state. So I think that the best piece of advice that I could give to somebody post-show is remember that, one, you're not going to look like show day every day of the year.
Agreed.
Two, focus on rebuilding your brain and your hormones again, because that's more important than your fucking physical abs in your body.
Yeah.
Like it's important to be in shape and look good, right? Because it also does play a role in our mental state. Mm-hmm. But don't overdo it. Don't over binge. Have balance. Pick 1 or 2 days out of the week where you have a big meal with your family and your loved ones, not just fucking by yourself in your room. Like enjoy meals with people that you love. Enjoy focusing on just rebuilding relationships around you and spending more energy in things that you love, because now that you'll have the energy to do things that you love. So try to really shift the mindset and don't look at it as a negative, and try to look at it as a positive, right? So you did your show, whether you placed like shit or you did really well, regardless. May not be for you, may not be for everybody, but whether you come in first or last, you still have a fire in you, something, and just know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, regardless of whether you feel how you feel mentally.
I think it's honestly, I think you nailed that one.
Yeah.
I mean, that was exact to what I would say.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting your hormones back to check is everything. You know, making sure that you have that willpower of like how many cheat meals, like as a coach like myself, if I have a client coming out of rebound or coming out of a show, I usually try to preference like, hey, this is when your body's the most sensitive.
Yeah.
Like we can really put on the size here. I'm going to give you these amount of cheat meals and these amount of treats.
Right.
Do
at your own wisely.
Yes, at your own leisure. So, you know, I don't ever like to restrict. Because to me, then when you restrict, you go into binging.
So then I also want to say that with the mental state, I think keeping cardio in post-show is important.
Yep.
If you're doing an hour, go to 30 minutes, right? Just cut it down. If you're doing an hour a day, do 30 minutes of cardio a day, just so you keep your body's flow state, so you slowly transition out of that ripped fucking physique that you have.
Yep.
Because you're gonna get mental if you're just beating yourself up an hour cardio, doing all this and that. Like, this is the time for your brain to calm down.
Yeah.
Prep is where you ramp it up.
Yep.
Now is the time to focus on your relationships, your mental health.
The post blues, I think, is the biggest one.
Yeah,
I think the post blues is everything.
I didn't get the post blues.
So I get a lot of clients. I have not a lot of clients. I have a couple of clients that get the post blues, and it's very hard to get them out of that.
Do you think it's because that they think that structure is gonna stop?
I'll tell you. I think I have the exact reason. In this world we're living in right now, there's not much to look forward to. So when somebody can actually dig into one thing and know they're accomplishing something,
correct.
This is what their mind is only worried about. They're not worried about anything else because now they know that they have a goal. Once that's done, you're at the edge of the cliff because you've made it. Now it's like, well, what the fuck do I do?
That's a failure on the athlete's part, right? Because they should be looking in the off season and in your downtime when you're not competing. You should have things that you fall in love with other than bodybuilding.
Agreed.
Because bodybuilding isn't forever.
Agreed.
It's not. Like, it ends one day, and you need to accept that. So I think that it's faulty on the athlete's part to think that this is the only thing that keeps me going forward.
Yeah.
No. You need to have other aspects and other interests of your life that make you feel whole and good.
Yeah.
That's why people struggle with these things. So digging into your own personal stuff and really figuring out who you are other than bodybuilding is critical.
Yeah. And the post blues aspect, I would say, is like try to set yourself up with another goal. What I usually do with my clients when we're done with the show, I go, okay, you get this many treats, this many things. I need you to enjoy yourself, you know, the post right after the show, and then the next Saturday or that Sunday. Okay, Monday we're back on plan. Okay, Wednesday I'll give you a treat.
Yep.
Wednesday, and if you got a family event, enjoy your family event.
I also think what I do want to do post-show as well for myself is instead of eating the 6 meals a day, maybe cut it down to 4 meals a day.
Yeah.
You know, just to like give the body just like relax and not so focused on food and this and that, right? Like maybe just focus on like just a little bit more volume and carbohydrates, more macronutrients, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Have different goals.
Have
different goals, guys. You know.
The next question is from Joey, EST 1989. What it takes to survive a bodybuilding prep? We got 7 minutes.
What it takes to survive a bodybuilding prep?
It takes a lot of fucking grit. It takes a lot of mental strength. It takes a lot of ups and downs. You need to be mentally strong, right? You need to be. What it takes to survive a bodybuilding prep. Anybody could just survive a bodybuilding prep, but surviving it
while doing 100%.
While having other aspects in your life going on and running smoothly and not failing relationships and not everything fucking up around you. That's where the real question should lay.
Yeah, so I try to tell, so when somebody comes to me and they ask me about coaching for a show, I go, okay, cool, like think about this. Like you have a wife, right? You have your kids, right? Cool. You're going to move those away. Your number one focus is going to be show. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it truly is because
especially down to the nitty gritty, right? Like, because I think these things you could keep all those aligned, right, for like 10, 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And then the last 4 weeks,
you're fucking dead.
you need a strong support system. So I think what it takes to survive a bodybuilding prep, other than the athlete having his mental in check, is that he needs a strong support system. And if I didn't have a strong support system, I'd be fucking in the ground right now.
Yeah.
So seriously, you know.
I know.
I'd be in the fucking hole.
You would be. You would have.
I would run myself to the 100%. I probably would have just gave up, honestly.
Yep.
If I didn't have a loving support system, my mom, my dad, my brother, Tom, like, just the people that support me the most, like my friend Phil, like everybody supports the grind.
Make sure you have money too.
Make sure you have money.
Make sure you have money. It's fucking expensive. Like, if nobody's gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you right now. If you're doing the enhanced
After the show, I need to take a breather and just conserve.
If you're doing a natural, sure, like you can get away with fucking maybe $600-700 because you gotta remember hotel's gonna still cost you, tan's gonna cost you.
We paid for the hotel, we paid for the tanning. Now we gotta pay for the show.
Coaching, supplements, food,
You're spending at least like $5,000 a prep minimum.
And that's mid range.
And if you're doing like a national show where you got to fly out, that's why I'm so blessed to be on the East Coast, because we have all these local shows that we do. We have national shows here too.
It's true.
So I figured just bang out all these shows, crush the entire area, and then move forward after that.
And then give yourself that time frame where like I tell people, like, do you really want to be prepping during summer?
Yeah.
If you have a family, it depends on where you're at.
It depends on where you're at. Like if you're single and you're like me, like, I don't fucking care whether
it was easier during summer for you. You know what I mean? It was. But like
now it's getting hard because it's fucking cold outside and I'm fucking freezing.
Yeah, and it's pumpkin season, bro.
Yeah,
so.
I know. You know me, dude.
I know.
Fucking desserts too. Like so I just saw something on Instagram yesterday. It was a pumpkin pecan cheesecake.
Oh,
cake.
Fuck.
So it was like cake on the bottom,
bro.
Cheesecake in the center, and then another layer of cake on top.
Oh, I've had that actually.
Pecan.
I've actually had that. Dude,
phenomenal.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, because I actually had that before.
I can't fucking wait till Thanksgiving, because that's when I'm actually going to have like a nice pumpkin pie.
That's when I give you a little more super draw. Sorry.
It's all right. Run it up. We're going to run it up. Pumpkin pie has got to be one of my favorite things. And I still have yet to try sweet potato pie, and I've been dying to try
it's so good.
Is it good?
So good,
My mouth is watering right now.
Yeah.
That's it, guys, for the questions for today. We have more questions that we're going to save for next week. But
thank you, guys.
Hope you guys like the podcast again. We love doing this for you guys, and we really appreciate the support. So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and peace, love, happiness. Sending it all to you guys. Peace.